Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Joseph, aka Jay with the Grits, and I am back once again with my man Leon. What's poppin', Leon?
Was good, man. It was good. Excited to be back, man.
It's been a minute since I see you here, man.
Yeah,
You
it's been
know,
a while, but it's good to be back. You've been
it,
holding it down.
it looks like we're both on the same wavelength. We both got red on today.
Yeah, man. Great minds thinking like that's what they say.
And just for everybody tuning in, you are now listening to the Morning Grits podcast, where we talk about sports in a raw and authentic way. And what we're bringing to you is another episode of Grits on the Go. And Grits on the Go is, hey, anytime me and Leon, we just might pop up and give you the raw about what's going on in sports. And remember, the thing about Grits on the Go is that there is no written content. This is straight raw. This is straight authentic, coming off the top of the head, just really giving you guys how we feel about sports. There is a lot going on in basketball currently. LaMelo Ball just got through playing in LA. He said that he wasn't phased by playing with LeBron whatsoever. I took that as maybe you lying, LaMelo. You got to be excited about playing against one of the greatest of all time, LeBron James, playing in the Staples Center, playing in LA. Coming back home. You're playing for Jordan. You know, what's there not to be excited about that type of situation, Leon?
Um, I love the first off, let me start by saying I love the family. I think that what LeVar has done with his sons is remarkable. That's a father's dream, you know. But on another token, they are privileged.
Right.
So he's been around stars his whole high school career. They would come to his games to watch him, and so it's a little. It looked like it's a little different for him. Like he's used to the stage already, which he is. Because in high school it was packed. You couldn't even get in the gyms when they were playing. And so they have already been in the spotlight for so long. To him, it's another game. But
It's just another
on
game.
the other token, it's LeBron James. You probably grew up watching him, and probably one of the players that you grew up idolizing. So I'm pretty sure he had some type of nerve. I mean, but he played well. You know what I'm saying? I think he
Yeah.
played well. He had a wonderful game. He scored, I think, 25 points, 24,
Yeah.
25 points.
26 points.
And he definitely put himself in a position to be a leader in this NBA in the years to come.
Yeah, he did, man. Hey, Lamelo's been balling all year, and especially ever since he came into the starting lineup. Me personally, you already know, Leon. I mean, we talk about Lamelo all the time here because we love the family.
Mm.
We love LeVar. LeVar always keeps it 100. A lot of what LeVar has said has some things have been off the wall, but a lot of things that he has said about his boys have really come true. We're just waiting for Jello to really get into the league and stick. But other than that, LeVar's kind of been accurate. And, LaMelo Ball has been playing up
Mm.
to the potential. He hasn't had that criticism that Lonzo
Yeah.
got because I think everybody didn't know how to deal with LeVar Ball at that time, really pumping up Lonzo. But if you look at LaMelo, his season that he's having as a rookie, yes, most of the games have been playing against the
Mm.
East, but last night he did show up. But what guard or big guard don't score over 20 points against the Lakers? And that's the whole thing. Does that really, identify or show the game of LaMelo Ball yesterday? And I think it does. I think it kind of solidifies him, especially going against LeBron, especially going against that Lakers defense where he wasn't able to penetrate against that defense at all. He had to settle for a lot of outside shots, but he was able to pick his spots in the second half, especially. He was able to get to the free throw line. He was able to pass the ball very well. Not a lot of lob passes going on against the Lakers because their interior defense is still pretty solid, even without Anthony Davis. But Lonzo Ball has been balling
Mm.
also. He's been having a great season. Some people, hey, he might get traded. I don't know what's going on with this situation. Is LaMelo Ball the real deal? Is he the rookie of the year?
Um, right now, of course. I mean, there's just, I mean, the way he's playing is I didn't think anybody expecting him to play as well as he's playing right now. He could have possibly been the number one pick, you know. Anthony over there balling too. So I think
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong with either one of them. But I think right now, LaMelo is the dream child, and so anything he does is well and is good, and he's playing like it. You know, he's the real deal. You know, Lonzo been saying it since he came into the league that his brother was better than him, had a better jumper than him. LaMelo is going to be okay because when LaMelo don't score, he can create opportunities. His
Right.
IQ is through the roof, and so with that being said, um, he's going to be an effective player. I mean, even when he's not having an off night, he's going to be able to uh, distribute the ball. He's going to be able to rebound the ball. He's a good rebounding guard. He's a good assist guy. And so he's going to be okay. He reminds me of a smaller LeBron James, you know, because he's a
Mm,
triple threat every night. You know,
right.
he got to put some weight on, but
Yeah.
his IQ is as high. It's where LeBron's is, and it's only going to get better. But I would like to see him in the playoffs when the game tighten up and get tough. You know, he don't have
Yeah.
nothing in his back pocket, and that
No, he doesn't.
he gonna get touched. You know, and so that's going to define if you gonna make a franchise successful is if you can get them in the playoffs and get them some wins and ultimately win a title. So I'm interested to see because right now they're sitting in that fifth spot, and
Uh-huh.
so I like him there in that fifth spot. I think they'll be good, but I want to see them in the playoffs. I want to see how he performs in the playoffs the biggest stage in the world. There's no stage like that.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's kind of battle tested when they get into the playoffs. He was on the ground a lot. You kind of mentioned that he
Right.
was like light in the pocket. He was on the ground a lot last night. The Lakers are a physical team. You know, the Lakers when they want to, they get up in your chest. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they will knock you off. They'll set some illegal screens. You know, they'll put you on the floor a couple of times in a game. But
Yeah.
you also talked
Yeah.
about him not having
They'll
size.
touch you.
Yeah, they will. And you talked about him not having size, and then you mentioned Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Anthony Edwards looks really polished, Leon.
Mm-hmm.
And he got even better with this new role with this new coach, the dude that they got from Toronto. He looks so
Man.
much better ever since
Mm-hmm.
he's got the green light, Leon. This dude had 42 points last night.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, look, this dude, and this is why he's my potential rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Anthony Edwards' game, I think I said Evans earlier, my bad. Anthony Edwards' game, this guy is all around. He's a high flyer. He plays at the rim. He can get to the cup at will. He's strong. He can strong. He can finish and will dunk on you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You better
you
watch out.
know, the only thing I think that LaMelo have over him is maybe LaMelo IQ is a little higher. But Anthony Edwards is a machine, and like I said,
Yeah.
I think that the race is going to be neck and neck. You know,
Yeah.
even though Lamelo won Rookie of the Year the last couple of months, it could be the same. I mean, it could have easily been Anthony Edwards too. So I like what he's doing over there. I mean, that goes to show you if you got the right coach in place, a player can
Right.
thrive. And
Right.
so he's thriving. He's got the green light. He's their future. He's their franchise player, and so he's living up to it. I'm very impressed with Anthony Edwards.
Right. Cat, you know, no disrespect to Cat. Cat's got game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell like Cat's
Yeah.
body's kind of like, you know, fade away. His athleticism is not there like it used to be. But the
Mm-hmm.
franchise is Anthony Edwards, man. And that's something that I posted last
Yeah.
night, especially on Instagram. I posted it on the Morning Grits page. I said that Anthony Edwards is the franchise. And Leon, he is. The kid is built. He's built like
Yeah.
LeBron, like a younger LeBron. He can shoot the jumper, like you said, Leon. He's just an all-around player, and his basketball IQ is going to get better. And you can watch the tutelage of the players, the older players that they're giving him, and he's soaking up all of it, bro. And even with the new coach
Mm-hmm.
coming over from Toronto, and I don't even know his name. I'm sorry, I don't even know the name of the coach. But you look at the emergence of Fred VanVleet, you look at OG Anunoby, You look at Piao, Siakam. You look at Norman Powell. You look at Kyle Lowry. You look at the players that have come out of Toronto. Those younger players, since that coach has been there, the development of the Toronto Raptors has been really, really excellent. To where those players are stars now, or at least can be potential all-stars every year coming out of the East. That's what I expected from and was hoping to see was the development of Anthony Edwards once this new coach came.
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely agree. I was watching when he played the Lakers, man. He's going to be a force, unstoppable force. Once he learns, and you could tell he's learning quick. But once he really learned the game, because the NBA he hasn't caught up to the NBA speed just yet. But
Right.
when the game slowed down for that kid,
Yeah.
and he's able to switch gears, and he's able to maneuver and find his spots and get his man, he's going to be a problem. And so I'm excited because I think that even now LeBron could look on and say the NBA is in good hands with those, even just with those two players. They're going to be transcendent type players, and so it's going to be fun to watch them for years to come, man. I think they're going to have battles. LaMelo, Anthony Edwards. I think they're going to have battles.
Yeah, that's going to be the next two. It's like LeBron and Carmelo. Yeah. That's going to be like the next two. That's a really good comparison. LeBron and Carmelo, and you have similar players within Edwards and Melo. But then you have guys that are already established, right? These guys that are established. James Harden. James Harden is established. Some people feel that James Harden should be the MVP. Myself, I'm pushing for Kyrie to be MVP of the league. I don't know if he can be MVP just because of the fact that he's missed too many games. But the reason why I think Kyrie could be the MVP, Leon, is because Kyrie, I think, makes the difference of what James Harden is doing on the team. I know James Harden went for 40 points, and he did it against the Pacers, and the Pacers got some all-star players over there, especially with Sabonis. But, the Brooklyn Nets, man, I know they got Blake Griffin. We haven't really talked much about that too much, but I definitely want to hear your side about the Brooklyn Nets. Where you think like kind of how did they position themselves with getting Blake? Do you think Kyrie's MVP worthy? Do you think Harden's MVP worthy? Durant's supposed to be coming back soon. Like what you think about that whole situation in Brooklyn?
First and foremost, let me start off by saying I do not think that Kyrie is MVP worthy. No. For one, Kyrie, he does, like you said, he doesn't play enough games. If he could play a full season, he might be considered. But I wouldn't consider anybody on the Nets an MVP.
Okay.
Anybody.
Why is that?
And if I could, because they're stacked.
Okay.
Like your skill is showing now because you have so many superstars on your team. You got 3 superstars. 3. When LeBron played in Miami, you had LeBron, and you had a declining Wade, and a Chris Bosh, who wasn't a superstar. Even that team, the Brooklyn Nets team, is way better than the Miami team.
Yeah.
Just talent-wise.
Right.
So the game is easier. Like no. You cannot win. You can't match what a Giannis is doing for the Bucks versus what Kyrie is doing for the Brooklyn Nets. The game is too easy at that point. It's like 2K. It's like a 2K team. You got an all-star team. Like if you put an all-star team up against the Brooklyn Nets can beat that all-star team. Because you got it's just ridiculous. And then you add Blake Griffin. Now everybody's sleeping on Blake Griffin and saying Blake Griffin is washed.
Blake Griffin's trash, Leon. He's trash.
Mind you, before before he got hurt or he just sat and lost interest, and then that's what I believe happened with Detroit. He lost interest. He was 24 points a game. 24 points a game. Now you put that on the Brooklyn Nets where he doesn't even have to be the second option. He don't have to be the third option. He is the fourth option.
He's
You
not the
have a
fourth
Blake
option.
Griffin as a fourth. Yes, he is.
No,
He's a
he's not the
fourth
fourth
option.
option. He's
And
not
he's
going
going
to
to start. Bro, he's a 20-plus guy a night. There's nobody on the roster other than that top three that's averaging 20 points. Sorry. He's the fourth guy. That you can't disrespect Blake Griffin. He's had a wonderful career. He's averaged 24, 25 points his whole career. And now you put that on a team. He is your fourth option. There's nobody on that team other than Kyrie, James Harden, Kevin Durant that's qualified to be that fourth person other than Blake Griffin. There's nobody. I don't care about the shooters.
I'm about to disrespect Blake Griffin. Why? Because I can. And I'm going to tell you why, Leon.
Okay.
Because Blake Griffin, ever since he's been with Detroit, like, all right, I get what you're saying as far as, like, you might lose interest and things like that. But when you're in a league and you're supposed to be like a crown superstar in this league, you don't lose interest. What you do is you go to these teams that might be weak and you still ball out and you pull up numbers. Any great leader or any great player that's on a team that might not have the best talent that's around them is going to average at least 24, 25 points. Look at Bradley Beal. Look at Giannis. Look at Trae Young out there in Atlanta. Look at all these teams that don't have quality players or might have young players that are coming up, and they're still averaging over 20-something points a game because they're motivated and they're putting their time, they're putting their energy, they're putting their mind into the game. They're playing with passion. So when it comes to Blake Griffin, he don't play with no heart. And when it comes to Blake Griffin, if you are in the league and you're playing from Detroit and you don't average that many points, that means you don't want to play basketball no more. Leon, he hasn't dunked the ball in 2 years. He has ever since 2018, he hasn't even averaged 20 points a game. And so to say that Blake Griffin is a viable fourth option when you have a $72 million man over in Brooklyn by the name of Joe Harris, who can shoot the three, who's opened up his game, who's opened up his skill, who's more efficient from the field, who's more all-around player than Blake Griffin is, I don't think that you can put Blake Griffin in that same category. Blake Griffin is to me, is washed up. He is trash. Can he give them a couple of minutes a game? Yes, he can. But is he going to be like the end-all, be-all, and the difference maker in a series? No. Is he going to be the difference maker in one game maybe this season? Probably not. DeAndre Jordan is going to do more in the offense that Blake Griffin can actually do. I feel that the offense with Blake Griffin, because his immobility and his mindset, Leon, I don't think he can actually succeed over there in Brooklyn.
I disagree. I respectfully disagree. So you're saying a player that on a trash team should still average 20 points and still play like they want to play basketball. Now, mind you, let's turn our eyes to James Harden. Let's turn our eyes to James Harden in the league. Okay. Let's turn our eyes to James Harden. Dude, everybody knew that James Harden was dogging it. Everybody knew that James Harden wanted to get, and he forced his way out of Houston. When you have an uninspired player, they're going to do that. That's part of the game. When you played under a coach that you didn't
for 2 years. For 2 years? For 3 years?
Yeah, for 2 years. He's been trying to get out for 2 years. He played like 30-something games in 2 years. 38 games in 2 years. Bro, I'm telling you, once you put, like we were just saying earlier about Anthony Edwards, once you put a player under a coach where they feel like they can thrive, and you back with players that you've played with like a DeAndre Jordan that can motivate you, Blake Griffin is going to be a problem, because I remember when Detroit played the Lakers a couple of years ago, they couldn't do nothing with Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin went for like 35 on us. And so once you get an inspired player, I think everybody's sleeping on Blake Griffin, and I don't know why. He ain't done nothing wrong. He's injury prone, but the dude is still a 25 night, and Joe Harris still got to prove that. He still has to prove that. He has never in his career put up Blake Griffin numbers.
No, he hasn't. He
has yet to make the All-Star. And he probably won't make the All-Star.
he's not going to make the All-Star because he's a specialty type of player, and he hasn't
No.
had to. Don't forget, Joe Harris has only been in the league for about 4, maybe 5 years now. His first couple of years he was with Cleveland, and now he's here. He was a three-point shooter. He was a
Blake Griffin went to the All-Star his first, second year?
Because
Blake Griffin went his second year.
Blake Griffin is kind of like Zion. When Blake Griffin came into the league, he was super flashy, high flyer type of guy, high motor type of guy, big, like, you know what I'm saying? And but as far as stepping outside to shoot the jumper, he developed maybe a 15, 17 footer. He can shoot the three sometimes, but he's not like consistent with the 3-point shot. What does D'Antoni like to do in his offense, which is Steve Nash's offense now? That offense is so spread to where you're playing pick and roll, you're playing a pick and lob game, you know, when it comes with the big men over there in Brooklyn. The floor is spread. That's why Joe Harris is more effective. That's why KD is going to be more effective. That's why Kyrie is so effective, because Kyrie, one, can play off the ball, and he can penetrate and create for other people. There's no way to really stop those three players when you have the floor spread like that. But with Blake Griffin, you can't really spread the floor because he doesn't have that outside jumper that can be consistent, that you can rely on. He has to be inside on the block. And when he's on the block, his post moves are very, very limited. He doesn't have a lot of game. That's why you're seeing the transcendence of Blake Griffin on a decline, because he can't transcend, and he hasn't transcended. Because if he really had game, he would have showed it when he was in Detroit. When James Harden wanted to get out of Houston, James Harden dropped 42 fat. James Harden was fat, came back, bro, and still dropped 42 in his first game. Had 35 the next game. James Harden was putting in work. So, yeah, you might want to get off a team. You might want to have a bad attitude about doing that. And you might want to really say that you don't want to be there. It's like when you have a girlfriend and you don't want to be with her no more, but so you just going to make her mad so she can break up with you.
That's exactly how it is. Right. That's how it is. But you have to take into account. I mean, I played under a bad coach. And I know the feeling with a player where you feel like you're stuck and you're trying to get out. But then when you get under someone that's going to push your career, like I said, he's not even he's going to be a fourth option. And you don't have to worry about a Blake Griffin. When you have certain people on your team that make your team that good, and teams are not keying in on you on defense, do you know what that's going to do for him? Because you're going to have to double KD. You're going to have to even double Kyrie. And you're going to have to double James Harden. You can't do that. So you have a Blake Griffin to roam the court as he will. That's going to make the game so much easier for Blake Griffin. He has never played with players that good in his whole career. He's going to get buckets. He's going to get lobs. People saying he ain't dunked. Man, Blake Griffin can still dunk, bro.
No, I'm sure he can still dunk.
That's just people bringing it up. I guarantee you Blake Griffin's still getting well over the rim. And so I just feel that the game is going to be a lot easier for him. And I like Blake Griffin as a player, you know. And he just been dealt. He went to Detroit. He tried to make it work. It just seemed like the situation wasn't fitting. And, you know, he did what a lot of players do. You know, he just lost interest. It happened. He's not the first. You can't just point him out. He's definitely not the first. There's been several players that to do the same thing and lose interest. Like, look at Bledsoe. Bledsoe got a nice little contract, and what happened to Bledsoe? You know what I'm saying? He's just now Bledsoe over there on the Pelicans, a second scrub. And that dude was a top tier when he was with the Clippers, a top tier point guard playing behind Chris Paul. Went to the Suns, killing for the Suns. Then ended up going to the Bucks, and now he was just like, what happened to Bledsoe?
But that's a different situation, Leon. Like I don't think you can equate it to the two, because Blake Griffin's always been paid, right? Blake Griffin's always been paid. And when Bledsoe still was garbage when he after he got that contract, and then he went to the Bucks.
Phoenix.
He didn't perform the way that he was supposed to with Milwaukee.
No, he didn't. But you don't know his situation. You don't know what the situation was, because he definitely wasn't playing like the Bledsoe that was with Phoenix.
Well, Bledsoe wasn't used right. in Milwaukee, but you're not gonna start him over, George Hill, who George Hill was shooting like 39, 40, 42% from the 3-point line. I mean, he was like number one in the league for a year or two, shooting the three. So you can't start him over George Hill, who's a bigger guard who was more seasoned. But I mean, even in New Orleans, I don't think it's the right fit with him being with Stan Van Gundy. Maybe Stan Van Gundy was an issue with Blake Griffin because Stan Van Gundy was the coach over there with Blake Griffin, and now Bledsoe. I don't even think Lonzo's being used properly with Stan Van Gundy. I love the way that Brandon Ingram is being used with Stan Van Gundy, and I also love the way that Zion's being used because Stan Van Gundy is one of those coaches that could influence younger players. He's really good at crafting the skill of younger players. But I don't think that's why Blake Griffin didn't perform anymore. I really think Blake Griffin's skill just kind of depleted. I know you brought up the comparison with Bledsoe, and I understand where you're coming from.
Right. But I think I think it's too premature to say that right now, because for one, he hasn't played enough games, and I think it's premature to say that Blake Griffin don't have nothing left in the tank. Yeah. I just think that that's premature. Now, if he gets over there and he stinks it up, then now you have a right to say that. But being under the wrong coach in the wrong situation, we both know how that goes. And I think it's extremely premature to say that Blake Griffin is washed up, especially what I seen him do to my Lakers 2 years ago in 2018. He destroyed. But what I'm saying is that it's too premature when you take a player that's not being used right. And look at what's happening to Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is not being used right. And is he producing? No, he's not producing. He's in the wrong situation. So guess who's trying to acquire Lonzo Ball right now as of this morning? The Los Angeles Clippers are trying to look at trade packages to get Lonzo Ball over to them because he's not being used right. You could tell Lonzo is not happy in his situation, in his role. So you can tell, you can see how his play, you can see that he's not really interested. He's not putting everything he has into it. It's showing. And now you hear his name on the trade block because he's not in the right situation. But I guarantee you, if you put Lonzo with the Clippers, I guarantee you he'll thrive because they need a Lonzo Ball. They need somebody that can distribute the ball, who's not looking to score all the time, but has a high IQ. If he's put in the right situation, he will thrive. Same thing with Blake Griffin. It's the same dynamics. So I believe that Lonzo is going to get traded. I'm shocked that he's on a trade block because he's such a good player. He's been playing well, but you could tell that he's not fitting in the system. And so now he has to be moved. So same thing happened to Blake Griffin. I mean, he's not being paid as like Blake Griffin yet, but the same dynamic. Players are in the wrong situation and just trying to find a place where they can just hoop.
Yeah, I think it's always been like that with the league, right? You can be a really, really great, skill, talented player, but then you get caught up in the wrong system, on the wrong team at the wrong time, and then you can find yourself on the end of the rotation and never even get into a game, but only when it's like, trash time or crunch time, when it's like 2 minutes left in the game and it's already a blowout. Lonzo Ball, bro, this good topic, Leon. The Knicks are looking at him. The Clippers are looking at him, just like you said, it came out today. When you look at a lot of players that have been moved in the league this year, man, I think it creates more parity. I think there's a lot more talent in the league this year. Even the All-Star game, I felt like there were no snubs. A lot of players didn't get chosen for the All-Star game that have put up great numbers. Like Trae Young, Bam out there in Miami. I know the team is not that great, this year, but I think that's a team to kind of look for in the playoffs, and them picking up Trevor Ariza, I think was a really good addition. I think he still has a little bit left in the tank. He's been passed around a little bit, within these last couple of years, but Trevor Ariza is a really big acquisition for a young team. There's a lot of movement. PJ Tucker just went to Milwaukee, and I think that's really great for them because it gives them another shooter. It's a really big deal. So let me hear what you got to say about that, because you nodded your head real heavy with that.
going back to I think what was the first trade that we were talking about?
We're talking about Lonzo going to the Clippers.
Lonzo going to the Clippers, and then we talking about PJ Tucker. PJ
And Trevor
Tucker,
Ariza, yeah.
and oh yeah, Ariza to Miami. That's what I want to touch first. He fits their mold. He
Yeah.
fits that gritty. Now he's been passed around. I think he's been to 19, maybe 11 teams in the past few years. He seems to can't find a home. He's always on the move. Um, but that's a great addition to Miami because if you think about Trevor Ariza, you think about defense. You think about now when you talk about defense, you use the word loosely because who can really play defense in the NBA as good as the offensive players are?
Right.
Look at Kawhi, supposed to be one of the best defenders in the league, and Paul George, and man, the way Luka,
Oh, he was torching them, Leon.
the way Luka the Don did the Clippers a couple nights ago was just it was terrible. I mean, he made Paul George look like a scrub. So when you say defense, we use the term loosely. I like team defense better than an individual defender. You know, but he's a D3 guy. I think he shoots like 39, 38% from the three.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's decent as far as the three. He's a gritty guy. He doesn't need to shoot the ball. You don't need to run any plays for him. He just get
Right.
out there. He loves to play basketball. He's going to give it 110% every time he steps on the court. So I think for Miami, that's a great pickup. Um, is that enough? No. Um, Miami desperately needs a big player. They need a center. I would love to see like an Andre Drummond, somewhere that can make a force or be a presence on the inside of them because that's going to be their Achilles heel in the when they if they have to face the Sixers, if they have to face the Brooklyn Nets, they're going to have issues. Even the Celtics. So I still don't like Miami chances as far as reaching the finals again. But PJ Tucker to the Bucks is strong
Yeah.
because he's a gritty player. They need grit because teams key in on Giannis too much, and in the playoffs, and to me they're just soft. I like Giannis toughness, but he's still kind of soft. You know what I'm saying? He don't have a physical game. He's
I
not.
see what you
He
mean.
don't have that physical presence where a PJ Tucker can come in and be that enforcer.
Right.
And he can hit the three, and he can rebound the ball. So I think that that's a great addition to them. I definitely like their chances as far as making it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that that's a humongous pickup for them if they can
Yep.
stay healthy. I think that
Yep.
they could definitely make some noise. I think they could be an issue for. I don't know about the Brooklyn Nets, but maybe the Sixers, maybe.
Stop it.
But I like them
Stop it.
third. I think they're third in the East now. That puts them in the solid third. But overall, I like the move. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, very solid move. Leon, I was thinking that PJ Tucker might come to the Lakers. I was even considering to if we had to package up somebody to go to the Lakers for PJ Tucker to come, a viable option would have been Kuzma just because he's attractive, right? But when you look at the East, and I think that move, well, I don't think Brooklyn's going to come out the East anyway. That's just me. I know you knew that. But I don't think Brooklyn's gonna make it to the finals, man. I don't. And just because you have to bang. You talked about the defense in the East right now. You talked about Miami. You talked about Philly. You talked about Boston. Those are four defensive teams that really lock in on their opponent. They extend their defense out. And with the Brooklyn Nets, you would have to extend your defense. But those are also teams that do have an interior aside from Miami. But as you mentioned, team defense. All those teams play really great team defense. And when they're running man-to-man, when they're running matchup zone, when they're running the 3-2 or the 2-3 or the 1-2-1, 1-2-2-1, or whatever it is, 1-2-1, 1-2, what is it, Leon? 1-2-1-1.
1, 2,
You know,
2.
when they're running
1,
their
2,
defensive
1.
sets, when they're running their defensive sets, they know how to trap in the right spots of the floor. They know how to really get and put pressure on the ball. And that's what I think is going to have some problems for Brooklyn is the defense. The really hard defense that's going to be played by these teams. To where Milwaukee uh, picking up PJ Tucker, man, I think that puts him more into the number two. In the East now. When you look at my team is in the East, I guess I would say Philly's still number one, just because they have an all-around team. Without Joel Embiid, obviously that makes a really big difference. But I'm glad that his knee didn't really get busted. I'm glad it was only just a knee sprain, because he'll be back. It looked really bad. I know you saw that fall, but he'll be back, and he's hungry. And just them playing in the Doc Rivers, man, just adds a whole different dimension to their character, to their team, and how they play. But you still got the White there. So it's not like, you're losing some offense, yeah, but now you got Tobias Harris that could cook. And then you got Ben Simmons, who nobody can really stop. So they're losing a lot with Joel, but they're still a solid team that's going to contend and it's going to play deep. But now you got the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it just increases their defense because you got PJ Tucker, who can guard anybody between the 3, 4, and also the 5. And so it just makes them more versatile as a team. Their point guard situation is a little shaky, with DiVincenzo. But that's a guard who's also heady, and he could kind of explode for a 20-point game if they need him to. Boston, I think they're going to come together. My thing is, what are the Lakers going to do? Are the Lakers going to do anything? Do the Lakers have to do anything? Not talking out of fear, because I'm not worried about those teams. I think the Lakers are still a team to beat. I think the Lakers are still the best team in the league. And LeBron just continues to show it. 2 triple-doubles, has a 37-point game last night, Leon. And he's just, I don't know. Wait, did he score 37 last night? Or something like that. Some 20, I don't know.
Like
He for no reason. For no reason at all. Just out there just balling. You know what I mean? And just really cooking. LeBron's the MVP of the league. He's the best player in the league. And but I do think that the Lakers need to make a change, just something to kind of match up against what the Brooklyn Nets might have. So we need that big man. What do you think about the Lakers coming out? What do you think about all this situation I just spoke about?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially with the Sixers. I think that but I also disagree. Joel Embiid is a big part of what they're doing. Like without Joel Embiid, they're not even. They will fall to the 8th seed. I don't think that
really.
That he makes him that. I mean, that's why I will put him second behind LeBron James, because take out Joel Embiid off that team.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not, because Ben Simmons is not what we thought he would be, and he makes the game. Joel Embiid makes the game so much easier for everybody else. He does, because you have to pay so much attention to him. He's virtually unstoppable. He's unstoppable. You can't stop Joel Embiid. If he's playing and he got it running, he hits the 3, he hits the mid range, he gets in the post. He's strong. He's so. I that's the only thing with them. Like, Joel Embiid have to be healthy for them to even compete with Brooklyn. Without him, they have not a chance. I think Boston. I'm kind of puzzled about Boston as to why it's not clicking the way it should. It's like something is going wrong, or something is going on where these guys, they're the crazy talented, but it's just not coming together, and that's alarming. At this point in the season, it's very alarming. Teams are starting to gear up and hit in the playoff mode and championship mode, and you still see Boston struggling. Brooklyn, like I said, I still think they're going to come out the East, because it's just now. Granted, Kevin Durant is healthy. Which is alarming. He's out so long, but I think that they're just being cautious. But that is kind of alarming that he's out so long. But I can understand that, because the Lakers are doing the same thing with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis won't be reevaluated because we don't need him for the next 3 weeks.
we know
Yeah.
that. Like everybody knows that about Anthony Davis. Like everybody knows Anthony Davis can
Right.
come back and play right now, and everybody knows that like the
Hmm.
Lakers are just stalling time. But like you mentioned, KD, like
Right. Right. Yeah. We just don't know, and I because I love KD as a player. I mean, I think that he's ring chasing. Everybody on the bricks are ring chasing, but it happens. Whatever. But with the Lakers, I think that Lakers are okay. Lakers are good. Because like if you look at the way the Lakers are structured, they're built for the playoffs. They're built for a slower paced game. Um, Still the number one defensive team in the league. I would love to see them make a move, but I don't know if I want to move Kuzma right now in the season. But if I had to package Kuzma for Buddy Hill, I'll make that trade. If I had to package Kuzma for Andre Drummond, I would definitely make that trade. So I think Lakers, they don't need to, but if they do make a move and get a player like that will push them over the top, I still think the Lakers are the team to beat. Um, but I think that we still need a piece.
yeah,
But the Lakers are good. I'm not worried about the Lakers because I think that the teams that are going to end up playing the Lakers are going to have their hands full no matter who we play. You can see now when the Lakers play somebody, it's just they're in a certain mode. Like,
yeah,
whether they're playing good or not, Lakers are in a mode, and Lakers are coming. LeBron is playing so comfortable out there. He's in a gear. You could see him last night. He's just in a different gear. You can't
right.
stop him. He's picking his spots. He's picking you apart. Um, and it's scary because our shooters are not hitting.
Nope.
They're not hit threes. They'll hit every once in a while. But I'm waiting for KCP to really hit it up in gear because he's
Right,
struggling with
right.
his
He's
shot a
coming.
lot.
He's coming.
Matthew Stevenson is struggling, but he's coming.
Yeah,
Also, Kuzma is struggling with his shot as of late, and so, but we're still finding ways to win, and that's what championship teams do. And I think that the Jazz better be careful because
yeah.
they losing some games now. But I'm
Right.
not worried
Here we
about the
come.
Lakers, bro.
Right. Right. And the Lakers, it's
Yeah.
not about the 1 seed. The Lakers is not about the 2 seed. It's not about the 3 seed. They want to be top three. The Lakers do want to be top three. But oh, it's not about the one seed
Yeah,
with
we
the
don't
Lakers.
want to fall that low.
No, we don't want to fall. We don't want to fall past three. But it's the long term. And it's very interesting that you said that you would give up Kuzma. And I know you're a Kuzma fan. And I'm not big on Kuzma like that. Yo, but he's been balling these last couple of games. These last 4 games since the All-Star break, and that game going into the All-Star break, Kuzma has been hooping. And everybody knows I hate Kuzma. Like, everybody knows it. But Kuzma has been playing. And Leon, I was saying this on
Such a
Facebook
strong
to one of my
word.
guys
Strong
yesterday.
word.
Well, I don't hate him, Leon. Okay, I don't hate you, Kuzma. I don't hate you. I just think you make some bonehead plays when it's not necessary, man. Especially when you're shooting air balls at the free throw line on a technical foul, and you shooting the ball to the left. Like, come on, bro. Like, anyway.
He's young. Remember when Kobe did the exact same thing, 2 airball threes in a row. He's young. He's
But
young.
he's not Kobe though. But he's not Kobe, and we know what Kuzma is, and we know what Kuzma is gonna bring. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but Kuzma is a viable piece, and his contract is very tradable. That contract is very nice and very tradable, and people like Kuzma around the league. And you said it
Mhm,
before, Kuzma can average 20-something points a game on a different team. You know,
mhm,
but on this team, I just think that if we can get somebody also, Leon, if we can get somebody like a Drummond, if we can get a three-ball shooter, Wesley Matthews hasn't really, and it could just be the offense. I know you said it before where Markieff Morris, he took him a little bit of time to kind of get familiar with the offense,
mhm,
kind of understand where to be on the court. And I'm thinking that might be the same type of situation with Wesley Matthews, because Wesley Matthews looks a lot better when he's with the second unit than he does when he's with LeBron on the court. And I think that's just like an understanding of where
mhm,
LeBron likes to be on the floor.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I give Matthew Stevenson to the playoff because it's going to take it'll take a while to figure out how to play. Um, and the shots are not as wide open as they would
Hmm.
be when Anthony Davis is on the floor.
Yeah.
Um, and so they're gonna get more wide open looks right now. Teams are able to close out a little quicker because they're only focusing our offense is LeBron James. He's the only person that requires attention, that amount of attention on defense. And so the shots or their teams are able to close out a little quicker. And so, but once Anthony Davis get back, the full team get back, I think that Lakers are going to be 100% fine. I think Matthew Stephens. I'm still giving him a long rope until the
Wesley
playoffs to
Matthews.
get it together. But his defense, yeah, Wesley Matthews. And KCP is. I'm not worried about KCP. KCP is going to be fine. He's going to turn it up. He has another gear, and we saw it last year in the playoffs. He was that
Yeah.
man. If it wasn't for KCP, we would have lost a couple of those games.
Right.
So all in all, I think that Kuzma's playing well. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter if he goes. I mean, I would love to see him stay because it seemed like he's starting to settle in his role,
Yeah.
and that's what you want for a young player to figure that out. And he's figured out his role, and like I said, he has the opportunity to learn from the greatest, arguably one of the greatest players to ever lace up his sneakers. And so you can't pay for those type of things.
Right. Right.
That's why Anthony Davis saw that the benefit of staying around LeBron because you stay around LeBron, you're gonna pick up something.
Right.
Horton Tucker, he's learning. He's a sponge. And so the Lakers are getting strong, man. Lakers are getting stronger. They're getting stronger. They're a true team, complete team. They need a piece, but they don't need a piece. They can get better, but they don't need to get better. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, y'all. And it's always interesting when you're tuning in to the Morning Grits Pack podcast. Hey, this is Grits on the Go. And hey, Leon, thank you so much, man, for coming in today, spending your time with me here, man. I love always to hear your takes on basketball, the NBA, and sports, man. So it's always real when you come through.
Hmm. Oh man, I'm just glad to be back, man. It's been away too long, but hopefully we in this thing every week, pushing out these episodes, man, and getting back in the grind.
Yeah, we here. Morning Grits is here. Season 2. Everybody tune in. You can follow us on YouTube. Go ahead, put that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and press the like button. Also, the notification so you know exactly when Morning Grits podcast will be bringing videos out to you. You can also follow us on Instagram. Morning Grits on Instagram. You can follow I am Leon Holly on Instagram and at Jay with the Grits on Instagram as well too. And we here. And just let me know. Are you with the Grits?